Well, good afternoon everyone and welcome along to Millbrae, where in the glorious sunshine Ayrshire Bulls will take on the unbeaten Boroughmuir Bears in round 3 of the FOSROC Super 6 competition. Graham Shields' Boroughmuir Bears side come into this one full of confidence, 2 wins from 2. Their most recent victory, a bonus point win last weekend against the Southern Knights, 27 points to 10. As for today's hosts and last season's champions, Ayrshire Bulls, it hasn't been quite the glittering start to the competition they were after. After an opening weekend victory against Heriots, they were knocked off their perch by Watsonians at Marside in round 2, so a chance to right the wrongs today and get back on track. Well, with me today on commentary is Colin Gregor. Colin, great to have you. You were on commentary last weekend watching the Bulls. What did you make of them?
Yeah, great to be here and looking forward to this game. Really excited by what the first half for Ayrshire Bulls was last week. They had a real intensity, a real physicality that they almost dominated Watsonians, and then with a couple of replacements that happened in the second half, maybe the heat, it was a really hot day last Saturday, they just couldn't maintain that intensity, and Watsonians came back into it and obviously came away with a victory. So the previous week the Bulls had a good second half. Last week it was a good first half, so I'm sure back at Millbrae against the as you say, the unbeaten Boroughmuir Bears, they'll be looking for an 80-minute performance. Yeah,
and particularly it's going to be a fast track out there by the sun. But you mentioned there the Bears, they're in flying form, and obviously looking, it'd be a big day if they got the win today. And there's, obviously the Bulls are a good side, but it'd be a big statement if they could get one over them.
You're absolutely right. Yeah, going down to Millbrae, down to Ayr, it's not an easy place to come away with a victory. But if Boroughmuir Bears, if they're serious about winning this title, they'll have to go and beat the former champions, Ayrshire Bulls. Obviously, it was Watsonians who had won the sprint series earlier this year that beat them last week. So you think that Watsonians, Ayrshire Bulls, they're probably going to be up there as strong teams again this week. So for Boroughmuir Bears, it's a big chance for them to come in and make a statement and see, are they serious about winning this title?
And talk about making a statement. We'll look at the team shortly, but Richie Simpson, the young fly half, what an afternoon for him.
Yeah, really exciting again for him, and you just hope he just relaxes into it and backs himself. He's got a bit of experience around him. He's got the Australian Jordan Lenach at scrum half, who did a lot of good things last week. The Ayrshire Bulls back row, Blair McPherson, a vastly experienced number 8, been with the club down there for a number of years. Archie Smeaton, the big physical 6, involved with the Glasgow Warriors Academy. Robert Beattie inside centre, got a lot of experience, been down at London Scottish, played at Glasgow Hawks. So there's a lot of good sort of wise old heads around Richie Simpson, and it's up to him then just to use these guys just to relax, get into his own game and just make the rest of the team tick.
Suppose just quickly, he's round a team that are hurting from last weekend.
That's exactly it, and they're back at Millbrae, they're back at their home. They want that to be a fortress, so yeah, they'll be looking for a big performance.
Well, let's take a quick look at the teams. Pat MacArthur makes 2 changes from the side that lost to Watsonians last weekend. Former Royal Belfast Academical Institution captain Lewis McNamara is unavailable, which means Scotland under-20 Tim Brown will get his chance in the back row. There's a first start, as mentioned, for young Richie Simpson. It's a big afternoon for the Wellington Ayr local boy. He's highly rated and takes the place of Will Hunt at fly half. Simpson's partner at halfback is scrum half Jordan Lenach. Lenach looking to cause problems around the fringes. The mainstay at inside centre for Ayr is Bobby Beattie, or Robert Beattie as they call him, the former London Scottish player had quite the start of the Super 6 competition so far, 3 tries in the 2 games. James Malcolm is at hooker. The former Seattle Wolves man seems to be finding his groove since returning from the States. Quick look at the Bears bench. Former Scotland under-20 Jimmy Drummond is a late addition as Alex Maguire misses out this week. Also on the bench, Ewan Hamilton Brown previously studied at Hartpury University in Gloucester.
Number 2, James Malcolm. Number 1, Andrew Neville.
And if we have a quick look at the Boroughmuir Bears side, Graham Shields selects 12 out of the 15 that made light work of the Southern Knights. 2 of the changes come in the front row. Brandon Sweet getting his first start in the Super 6 at Loosehead. South African has plenty of game time in Cape Town at club level in the past and will be looking to get parity at the scrum time. Alongside him up front is 125 kilogram Martin McGinley. What a powerful presence he is. He's brought into the team for the Bears. He's at tight head with live wire youngster Corey Tate between them, getting another start at hooker. Unchanged comes out behind at fullback with former Edinburgh player Tom Brown left on the bench this week as Adam Scott gets a rare opportunity from the start to showcase his talent at this level. Rory Swan and Auckland-born Jack Bergwin have been at the heartbeat of the 2 wins so far for Boroughmuir. They're once again at 9 and 10. It'll be a very interesting battle at inside centre today as Tom Lanny goes up against his former club. His head-to-head meeting with Robert Beattie should be one to watch with very keen eyes. Quick look at the benches. Sheila opts for Callum Smith for front row cover, and also Ian Carmichael, who seems to be able to cover every position in the pack. He'll be using the front row and back row if called upon. There you go, Colin. 2 teams, plenty of big matchups as I've mentioned. Which ones are you most likely looking forward to see?
Yeah, I think you identified the inside centres, the Bobby Beattie against Tom Lanny. It'll be really interesting. Just Bobby Beattie, he's so important to just how this Ayrshire Bulls team plays. Just if it's not taking an intercept and scoring from 80 metres like he did last week, it's just the basics that he does really, really well. Defensively solid, leads the line in defence, just kind of adds that important link in open play and in offence as well. So yeah, but you always come back to the forwards and you come back to the front rows and who's going to get set piece dominance. And when you're up against a 125 kilogram prop, then there's a big ask for that Ayrshire Bulls front row. But with James Malcolm, and I think he's heading back out to the States for another season of Major League Rugby. He's got a quality operator both in the loose and in the tight. I think when he was on last week, the lineouts for the Bulls were excellent. So if he can set that platform, set that example, then yeah, I think it's all set for the backlines to unleash and for a cracker.
What about the Bears bench there? No more experience than Tom Brown. You know, he's been a semi-finalist in the Heineken Cup in 2012, crazy, against Ulster. But like, just how much present, I know it's talked about so much, but what value can he add to the youngsters in this Boroughmuir Bears side, and how much experience can he lend on and to show what he's all about to these younger guys? Yeah,
I think Tom Brown's the kind of guy that he's got a real enthusiasm and passion for the game, and you just hope that rubs off just by being a presence around the club. He's also got a real quality skill set. He knows the standards that should be expected, and so he just by again training and being there, he can kind of set that, kind of drive these young guys, and if they are aspirational about joining the professional ranks, which being involved in the Super 6 you certainly hope they would be, then there's no better player for the back three kind of Boroughmuir Bears in particular to learn from than Tom Brown.
Yeah, but as you mentioned earlier, it's all about the set piece. But hopefully we'll see some running rugby and plenty of tries.
Yeah, as you see the pictures there, the baking sunshine, which is obviously a common occurrence on the west coast of Scotland, but I guess that's one of the benefits of playing these games in August time, that you hope you do get some good weather. You get the firm ground underfoot, almost too firm at Mireside last week for Ayrshire Bulls. But yeah, it's all set for a cracking day. I guess the one caveat, you always think, so it's only game 3 of the season, so will there still be a little bit of rustiness that they want to try things in attack, but it's just making sure that actually get the basics done, try and build through the phases, and then see what happens after that.
And after last week, you know Pat MacArthur, I'm sure very well. How much will he be hurting and stuff? What's he like? What will he be like all week?
Yeah, and again, Pat, he has a real positivity about him, so he'll accept there were areas in particular in the second half against Watsonians, the way that once Watsonians got sort of any sort of dominance, the Bulls just struggled to reassert themselves onto the game. They weren't helped by Blair McPherson, their captain, picking up a yellow card, so I'm sure he will identify just a little bit around the discipline, making sure that they're giving Boroughmuir Bears nothing easy, no easy points, no easy yards. If you're building pressure on them, he'll also just be saying to the players, look, you're a good team. Okay, the second half last week, we maybe didn't hit the intensity that we'd like to, but yeah, go out and back yourselves, and as a coach, I'm sure he'll back them to go and deliver.
Yeah, definitely. All just about set to go. Man in the middle, Johnny Perham, balancing life on the pitch as a referee, and in the office at Grant Thornton. So, all set here, which we hope is a cracking Super 6 affair.
Clear. Good, yeah. Okay, time's on.
So, basking in the sunshine. Boroughmuir Bears get us underway. A fine take. There, set this up through Lanac. And uses forwards round the corner. This is young fly half. And Simpson gets a touch. Bit of fumbling going on. Tristan Andrews does well. That's a very settled start. Has that one just gone out in the full? I think it has. It's carried back into the 22, was that, Colin?
Looks like it, yes. That's a great outcome for the Ayrshire Bulls. Really nice start for Richie Simpson, fly half, just to getting plenty of time just to get his first clearing kick away. Struck it beautifully, good yardage on the kick, and then it's Boroughmuir Bears that make the first just error. You saw the ball bouncing there. I mean, it was centimetres, feet in it. There wasn't a huge amount, but it's given the Bulls a fantastic attacking opportunity early in this half.
Malcolm goes straight to the tail. Well done from the hooker. Finds his man. Boroughmuir do well initially. And the Bulls are keeping it tight. Scrum half, Lanac is happy to tell his forwards where he wants them. Inside 90 seconds, the Bulls are on a mission. They're still going. Lanac shouting the instructions. The ball is still there. Now are they going to go all the way? They have the advantage. Keeping it at close corners at the moment.
Step, boy, step.
Inches short. Good defending initially. Lanac told to get out of the way. The power and the drive. This time they do go wide. One more. And that is really well worked. And what a start. Elias Cavan. Far too easy, but it's all thanks to the powerful forwards. And it's Ayr that are flying here early on, Colin.
What a statement of intent from the Ayr forward pack. I mean, that must have been 20, 22 metres that they trundled that maul on. And then it's great recognition. Once they had the penalty advantage, they've got that. They can take a bit more of a risk with the play going out to the backs, and the execution there is fantastic. Again, we see just forwards getting to within yards. It's great. Just give the backs a shot, and that's what it's all about. Bobby Beattie, great hands. The decoy run there from his centre teammate partner Jamie Shedden. Boroughmuir Bears, they have to hold on that, which gives Elias Cavan, the left winger, just enough space. What a start for the Bulls.
Yep, easy as you like for Richie Simpson. Cavan got a try in round one, and he's back at it again. He's dangerous when he gets in space.
He is indeed, yeah. But again, we've got to go back to just the dominance of the forward pack there, and gee, they made the Boroughmuir Bears, or they punished them for that one error, kicking the ball out on the full. So that's the ideal start for the home team.
Bergen goes to the air. Cavan nearly pounced on that like a thief in the night again. The knock on. And now Boroughmuir Bears will have a chance to settle themselves, because they've been hit by a tongue of bricks.
They have indeed, yeah, and they'll be delighted to get an opportunity to reset and strike back. Good restart there from Bears. Ball hanging up, difficult one for the Bulls forwards to gather. They're unsuccessful on that occasion. First scrum of the day. Let's see if the 125 kilograms of Mark McGinley can give the Bears some front foot ball.
Yeah, well, if he can't, we're in trouble. See how he gets on. Previously at Curry and Edinburgh Ackies, the big prop. Not had any representation. That's what's so good about this competition. He's in amongst some quality players himself, learning all the time. Been with Boroughmuir for a couple of seasons now. Bit of rugby in his family. His brother also played at Curry. Back to the day job here in the dark arts. Rory Swan. He's going behind a beaten pack at that first scrum. Still there for the scrum half. Using Josh King. A look to the corners through Bergen. Finding space. It's well played from the number 10. As Liam McNamara covers the ground well. Bit of a banana kick that.
Looks like it found a decent touch there, yeah. And, Craig Keddy, the Bears captain and number 8, excellent work to get that ball out of the scrum, because the Bulls did have a shunt on there. And then it's good recognition from Bergen. Actually, they're going backwards a couple of phases around halfway line. Let's just ping the corners. But McNamara, the Bulls fullback, covers it really, really well. And it's an excellent clearing kick to get down to the halfway line.
Typical. He built up McGinley and he went backwards there.
Exactly.
So let's hope he gets back on track. Not that it's easy in that front row, Colin, I'd say.
And
Not
that's
that I
it.
know much about it.
And the Ayrshire Bulls, they'll think that's a big challenge. We'll see what he's all about, and they're rising to it, or they did rise to it in the first scrum anyway.
So Swan. The loose runners. First real chance we've had for the man playing against his former club, Tom Lunny. So big afternoon for him. They're still there, going down this far side of the pitch in Alloway. But I think that's been stolen. That's a great rip in the contact. And it is with the home side. It's another momentum changer for them. You can hear Lanac all the time, setting up that caterpillar. Looks left. There's only one place this is going. It's into the air. Well covered by Adam Scott. Now, Boroughmuir looking to go, but again, the fumble and the ricochet. Well done from the big second row. Rory Jackson. There's numbers wide. Man he scored just minutes ago, Cavan. Taking the short line. Just trying to pick up the tempo. Or the Bulls. The knock again, under a bit of pressure. The knock on comes from the captain, McPherson. It's all a bit shovelled there. The penalty off the feet, maybe, I think, Colin, is it, or holding on?
Yeah, it's Jordan Lanac. The scrum half just recognises there's an opportunity to latch on. Bears just a little bit loose with their clear. It's a great tackle from the James Malcolm, the Bulls hooker, drives him back in towards the ruck, falls at the feet of Lanac, and the scrum half. Everyone on the field now, if you've got an opportunity to try and win turnover ball, it's an expectation, almost an obligation that you're going to stick your head in. Might hurt, but you get the rewards, as Lanac did on that occasion, and they're back on the attack.
Yeah, good to see a number 9 in there, stealing ball. Now, can his forwards do what they did and replicate themselves? This powerful presence of the Bulls. The Bears just can't handle it at the moment. The knock. Once again, it's the heavies. When they come round, it's their skipper. And I think he's over. Yes, he is. Blair McPherson on the short line.
Just physically dominating this Bulls team just now, the forwards in particular. Bears have got no answer again. The yardage they get off the maul, and they break away, and a great leg drive just to keep on the front foot. and it's a big carry. It's just that the 2-3 Bulls forwards latching onto one another. Great ball presentation on a plate for Linac, and look at McPherson just barrelling his way to the line. Again, clinical from Bulls in and around the Bears 22, and they're coming away with points.
Yeah, real club stalwart is the skipper, leading by example there. Simpson makes it 14-0. So talk about getting the perfect start, the home side. I'm not sure they could get any better.
Yeah, absolutely. You'd be thinking who are top of the table, or who are the team that have won their 2 games so far, and you currently wouldn't be saying it's the Bears in blue. They've really struggled this opening 10 minutes. Pat MacArthur, the Bulls coach, he'll be wanting a response after last week's defeat, and boy has he got it.
Now, this time it does fall with the Bears. Swan just telling his players where he wants them. Across the pitch that time from Jack Fisher. One out runners need to straighten this up as Lanny tries his best. Still persisting with this short side. Better quick ball. Corey Tate, a real live wire hooker. Big future in the game, the youngster. Bergen shovels that on. Now, what can he do? He can use his big back row in Josh King. Well done from Swan. Skipping tacklers there. It's back up. Bergen with the cutout. Bit of width here from Boroughmuir Bears. Good line that was from Martin McGinley. Second rows here in tandem. They're actually going to help McGinley out once more. Loose ball. Rather luckily and fortuitously, it's still with the visitors. And they have the advantage. So a bit of a free shot here. King looking for the extra metre or two. Swan asks the big man to carry it, and Callum Anderson. Now they go wide. Bergwijn does ever so well. Fullback in Adam Scott fancies a crack, and they spread it. Swan once more, happy to keep it with the nitty gritty. Still there, plenty of phases. Callum Anderson, next man offering himself up. Craig Keddy. Now Tate asking for a bit of help. Some serious ball retention as they swing the other way. The kick comes across. Can they get in? That could be some finish.
They're saying no try. It was a fantastic effort from the Bears fullback Adam Scott. Great improvisation from Jack Bergin, just with that deft little chip kick. It's a long advantage that they've had. It's a shame that Adam Scott couldn't grab that on the full. He had to wait for the ball to bounce up, and fantastic cover defence in the end. I think it's Linac, the Ayrshire Bulls scrum half. What a multi-phase attack from Bears though, just going through the phases, getting a bit of width early on, and then as they get near to the Bulls line, they go a bit more with the forwards, pick and goes, one pass game, and you see James Malcolm sucking in the air there. It was a big defensive effort that Bulls managed to keep the Bears out, but Bears very much still on the attack.
Yeah. Don't know how many phases that was. I thought it was never bringing you back in, Colin.
It's good effort from you, sucking in the air now yourself to recover.
Good set pieces from Corey Tate and his troops. Trying to keep it going and keep it moving. Referee says that's once. Getting a few Ayrshire men out of the way. Ball does find the deck. Is that going to be a turnover? That is a big, big defensive set. And look at the contrast there. Ayrshire Bulls maul absolutely superb, and then when the Boroughmuir Bears get a chance, they get stopped at source.
Yeah, it's fantastic work from all 8 of the Bulls forwards there. Edward Bloodworth in particular, just the number 4, we see him sitting on the ground there, but he manages to get through them all and get his hands on the ball, and it means that Bears can't get that ball free, and we see it just does organically go to ground. The Bulls haven't brought it down, it's collapsed them all, and because the Bears can't get it out, it means that it's put into the Ayrshire Bulls, so they'll be delighted with that defence.
Must say, I know it's very early on, first 15 minutes, but Jordan Lanack, he's been pretty much everywhere, defence and attack. Yeah,
he has. The one error which got Boroughmuir Bears on the front foot, actually, it was the big carry from Josh King. It was through Lanack. It's great recognition from the Bears to pick out, actually, there's a scrum half in the defensive line. We'll get our big back rower running at him. But then Lanack more than made up for it the way he covered across and made that last ditch intervention on Adam Scott to stop the try. And when the Ayrshire Bulls have been in possession, you can see him just marshalling the forwards at maul time. I think a couple of times the backs wanted the ball out, but he's saying, nah, we've got the ascendancy, the forwards are going forward, so let's just keep the ball in, let's just bleed the yardage, take it step by step almost, and it led to a couple of scores. So yeah, it's good control from him. Seen a couple of box kicks as well, just knowing when it's on to clear the lines, knowing when it's on to get some tempo into this Bulls attack.
I'd say Pat MacArthur would have a scrum half well drilled, saying you're not touching that ball, the forwards are going.
Exactly, it's good to have a former Scotland hooker as your head coach, and we can see it the way that the Bulls not only attacking maul but that defensive effort there. Let's see if he's earning his keep with scrum time as well. The first Bulls scrum was pretty solid on Boroughmuir Bears possession, but let's see the first time they've got put in, big pressure as well. They need to make sure they clear their lines, having stopped that Bears attack. The job's not done yet.
As you say, Scott, Malcolm and Nemo.
And they do their job, don't they? They get the penalty. It's a fantastic effort from that front row and the rest of the Bulls forwards. Just a chance for young Richie Simpson to clear the lines, get the Bulls out of their 22.
Yep, Richie Simpson, just 19, his first start for the Bulls. Fraser Climo, of course, working with the young fly half. Big cricketer as well, seems to have plenty of talent, and I suppose for Ayr coming through their rugby pathway makes it even more special for them.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great when you can develop sort of young local lads and then they can get into the Super6 team, and who knows where the next step will be for him. But with Fraser Climo involved in the coaching setup at Ayr, it's a great role model, someone a lot of experience, real quality operator in his time. So it's a good chance for Richie Simpson to learn from a real legend of the game down that part of the world.
Yeah, there's played Scarlets, Taranaki, Ayr, plenty other clubs no doubt, but really, as you say, he's a great club man, also a very good player at professional level as well.
Yeah, exactly, just a quality operator, one of those that just always appeared to have a lot of time when he had ball in hand, and he just, yeah, very good at facilitating, at making things happen for those around him. So for a young fly half like Richie Simpson, it's great just pick up some of the cues and tips that Fraser Climo is willing to share.
As the Bulls just enhance their way up this pitch.
Yeah, Boroughmuir Bears currently, they've not got any answer to the physicality that the Bulls forwards are exerting on them, and it ended up in conceding a couple of penalties.
And it goes astray from Malcolm. It's back with his troops. Back with Lanack.
Leave it, Craig, leave it!
Loose forwards happy to stay out of the fly half's way. Cavan checks and goes himself, real nippy customer. This certain lad, Michael Scott, he's not nippy. He goes only one way. Here's his partner in crime, Andrew Nemo. That's exactly what their coach will want. They'll have numbers here, but they're still going to use Rory Jackson. It's a switch from Simpson back inside to Jamie Shedden. First real touch from him. G. Smeaton, some haircut and some carry. Simpson, dummy, good strength from the number 10. That's absolutely super for the young man. And the weaving run, what a moment this could be. Just stopped short. Smeaton, wide ball, but here he is for his double. Elias Cavan, as simple as you like, the smile on the face, all came from his number 10, Richie Simpson. That is class.
That's an excellent try from the Bulls, coming from a loose line out actually, but the hunger of Bloodworth, the second row, to get on that loose ball. And look at this from Richie Simpson. He just bounces out a tackle. He finds himself in the open prairies. He just keeps a cool head, recognises where's there a bit of space, but then he fights to get the ball on a plate. The presentation's fantastic. And Archie Smeaton playing at first receiver, he recognises the space is out wide. It's okay. Pulls the pin out the grenade. It's not all that accurate a pass, but it gets out to where it needs to be. And Elias Cavan, he doesn't panic. He just lets the ball bounce up, and it's a pretty straightforward walk in for him in the end. But yeah, great work from Richie Simpson.
It was indeed. Really great to see the youngster pulling the strings here in Millbrae. But Cavan, who knows, 20 minutes in, he'll be looking for his hat-trick.
It's a great position for a winger to be, isn't it? 2 scores in the first 20 minutes. Yep, you'll see him popping up anytime Ayr are near to the Bears try line. Great kick, Richie Simpson.
Yeah, serious draw on that. Must be a keen golfer as well, the number 10. What can't he do?
Good to see it, yeah. It did look like it was starting out way to the right, but he's obviously familiar with the conditions down at Millbrae. Maybe plays a bit of golf down on the west coast. A lot of courses down there as well, isn't there, as you say, Stuart?
Say he does. Fine start for him. Speaking of fine starts, Cavan has really put a foot wrong. Michael Scott loves getting in the action. Former GHA man in Glasgow, just finished up at university, a couple of seasons out there. It's Tristan Andrews. Goes on the carry. Man outside here. Good stepping from Aaron Tate. Callum Ram, I should say. Need to get something soon. Good defence again from Ayr.
Yeah,
I think they're in once more.
Okay. You both think you're entitled to it?
Yeah, both think you're entitled to it. We can hear Johnny Perriam, the referee, saying.
They both think they're entitled to it.
But he's decided that it's Boroughmuirs that are more entitled to it and giving them the put into the scrum. We see Bloodworth there trying, working to get that turnover, but Bears not willing to concede the ball. I think it's their captain, isn't it, number 8, Craig Keddy, that's saying no, we'll have that back, thank you. And the referee agrees. We'll give it to Bears, but yeah, it's a chance for them to get some points on the board. They'll be frustrated that they had that long passage of attack in the Bulls 22. They couldn't get over the whitewash. They then went to the corner, and the Bulls defence was strong. Then just a couple of penalties conceded allowed Ayrshire back up towards the Boroughmuir Bears line, and then we saw the fantastic Richie Simpson break, and again just so clinical from Ayrshire Bulls. Whenever they're in and around the opposition 22, they're coming away with points.
I was just going to say there, you know, first real sight of Callum Ram and Joey Jenkins. I'm yet to really call his name, so it just shows they haven't done much ball out wide.
Yeah, it's been difficult for the Bears because they're struggling to get that sort of parity up front, and when you're on the back foot, when you're chasing it, you don't really want to shovel the ball out to the wingers, because you know that they're going to get ball and all. They're going to have the Ayrshire Bulls defence swarming all over them. So it's about the forwards just trying to get some sort of front foot ball, some sort of quick ball, and then we can look at how the Bears get that to the width.
I can't reward you. Can't reward anyone.
But you mentioned it at the start.
Can't reward anyone, yeah?
Most people do say it, and they're right. It's all about the set piece, and Ayrshire Bulls are dominating at the moment.
They are indeed. The two line-out mauls that led to tries, and they were from the 22 or thereabouts. They just got such dominance, and then the flip side, when Boroughmuir were in that position on the Bulls line, it was big Edward Bloodworth, wasn't it, that got through and just disrupted them all. Meant that Boroughmuir couldn't get the ball out. Forced the turnover for the Bulls, who then get scrum dominance, win a penalty, clear their lines. But Bears have got a great attacking position now. They can get a decent scrum, just get the ball in, get it out, and get it in the hands of Jack Bergen at fly half. Let him pull the strings. Again, though, fantastic scrum. Ayrshire Bulls just saying, yep, we're going to just negate, snuff out any sort of attacking threat you might have by just dominating that set piece. I'll let you break the details of that scrum down and why the penalty was given. Definitely on the front foot, weren't they, the Ayrshire Bulls?
No, but it's very interesting speaking to Glenn, the Ayr team manager. He was saying they're so lucky with their front row, and this is what we can see, that both their starters and their benches are top class players, and he's proven right in the first 25 minutes. Yeah,
and it's important, as you identify there, Stuart, and that it's not just about the three that start. It's having that ability that come 40, 50, 60 minutes, whenever it might be, that you can then just get a real fresh injection and still maintain that same sort of level of intensity. Just can't quite hear what Craig Keddy, that Boroughmuir number 8 and captain, saying to the ref.
I saw it was skipping that second to last one, so
Thank you for doing that. Keep doing that, and I'll keep looking to reward if I can. Yeah. Okay, no, you good?
Seems to be civil enough anyway.
Yep. I've been really impressed with the communication that Johnny Perriam, the referee's, had so far. He was thanking, I think, Blair McPherson, the Bulls number 8, at one point for rolling away the right way. It's just his dialogue with the players has been excellent.
Malcolm again, that one goes astray. We want to get crooked throwing sorted. Keep the momentum this for Boroughmuir Bears. Swan. Bergen, won't thank him for that. From Auckland. A bit of rugby. Campbell in the championship as well. Seems to be enjoying his time at Boroughmuir Bears. Side win a penalty, not rolling away is the call from Andrew Nemo. He knew what he was at, I'd say.
Yeah, that's what Bears need. A bit scrappy, the play there, wasn't it? They did well to regather the high ball, but kind of didn't get into their attacking shape. But the fact that they've won a penalty, get a little bit of a stoppage for an injury, but yeah, winning that penalty on halfway, just you'd hope that they'd get in and around the Bulls 22 from here. And as we've said, 21-0 down after 27 minutes, they'd hope to...
Second water break now.
Oh, there we go, a water break. So just seeing here, just talked about James Malcolm, but again, bigging him up, how accurate the lineouts were last week. That occasion, whether it's a timing or just slightly overthrown, it's a good steal at the back, good reactions from Bears to see the ball has come over the top and react to it. Got them on the front foot, and a couple of phases later they're getting the penalty. I think so we're still having a water break, so the Ayrshire coast is obviously still hot enough for to necessitate that, which is fair enough. Got to look after the players.
Sunshine Coast, is that what we're calling it now? But just going back to James Malcolm, obviously played in America, played for Glasgow, London Scottish, sister captains the Scottish women's team. Just shows what a rugby family it is and how much he seems to be loving the game anyway.
Yeah, his dad was heavily involved in club rugby in Glasgow over the years as well. So yeah, and it's great that he's come back from Major League Rugby, and he's keen to get involved and play for the Bulls. I think it's GHA was his original club. I was chatting to a coach there who they'd been hoping that he'd just come along and play for them, but I think without being disrespectful to GHA, a player of James Malcolm's calibre and quality should be playing at the highest possible level, just to improve the game, but also for his own development as well.
Yeah, here's his opposite man, and Corey Tate. Of course, his brother Reese, Scotland under-20 captain, and player at the club as well. More rugby families. Back with the Tate. Uses the backs. Slipped up in the centres there. Bit of confusion. Just isn't quite clicking for the Bears. Any chance they have seems to cause an error. It's Michael Scott. Finds his way up the pitch. McNamara. That left boot. Adam Scott. Finds a bit of grass. Straight to Craig Keddy. Here come Ayr once more, and they go wide. Shedden. Good carry. Audacious pass on the outside centre. Still there. Lenac. Michael Scott. Beatty takes it flat. Had numbers. Blair McPherson pops it inside to Malcolm. And Tate. Just make sure the ball's presented nicely. Bloodworth. He just drops that, so a bit of helter-skelter at the moment.
Great to watch. Sorry, Stuart, I interrupted.
No, I was just saying there, Jimmy Shedden, that was a great break.
It was, yeah. The timing of Robert Beattie's pass to him was absolutely excellent. But before that, the recognition from the Bulls that there was space out there. And okay, they're still in their own half. They're just outside their 22, but Pat McCarthy, the coach, he's given them the freedom. If it's on, if you see something, go and exploit it. And good communication from the players, good skill execution to get Shedden charging down that right-hand touchline, got them on the front foot, and just a couple of passes just going slightly astray, which just killed the momentum. And then it's Boroughmuir Bears get their defence reset, force the rip, I think, at the breakdown from Bloodworth, forced the knock on, so it is a Bears put in, so we can get a little bit of treatment for one of the Bulls forwards, which is probably just a chance to catch a little bit of breath as well.
Definitely. Keddy and McPherson are pretty much identical to me, even though they're on different teams, they're like the same. Never know who you're calling. Yeah. Both had loads of caps and both seem old Wario players for their clubs. and
both captaining, isn't it, as well? So yeah, the stalwarts of both teams. Yeah. So just that Bears struggling to get a sort of foothold in this game. I guess it's just about don't try and force things too much. Don't get impatient with everything. That still plenty of time. Just key is not to give away anything else to the Bulls, because at 21-0, next score, then it probably would take it away from the Bears. But if they can get on the scoreboard next, or at least kind of keep it at that sort of level until half time, then you think, well, that they can be buoyed by that. But first and foremost, they've got to get the ball out of this scrum, which they've struggled with on a couple of occasions.
Set. 1, 2, 3.
Better this time. One Boroughmuir Bears still feeling a bit of a pump though. What will the referee do? He just bought himself a bit of time and says we'll reset again. You've obviously coached, Colin, throughout your time as well after playing. What will the message be on to these Boroughmuir Bear players? Like, it must be so frustrating in that coaching box.
And that's exactly it. And Graham Shield, the Bears coach, is very experienced. It's really difficult because you want to say, just get back into the game, don't make any silly errors, but you want them also to still go out and try things, and that's what we saw when they were on attack. There was an offload given that didn't quite go to hand, and so you think, well, why are you trying to throw that offload at this stage? But actually, if it goes to hand and they score, you're like, great offload. So yeah, it's just that you got to just trust your players and say, well, actually, we're not going to chase the game yet. It's a case of we can still build our way back into this game. So yeah, they've won penalty at scrum time there. It's not a case that you think, oh, we need to take a quick tap penalty and try and get up the field straight away. There's still plenty of time. There is a bit of experience in that Bears team. So yeah, whether it's the coaching message coming on or just the experience, the Craig Keddies and the like, the number 8 and captain, just okay, let's just maybe sharpen up the accuracy of some of our skills. Probably try and get a bit more physically dominant, match the Bulls on that level, and then just kind of build from there.
Okay, Mark McGinley, one back. He's hung in there rightly. On the penalty at scrum time.
I'll make them come in and set a good gap. You stay where you are. Guys, in, it's a metre.
Sweet.
Thank you.
Just giving Corey Tate a bit of advice. Go to the front. Cries of not straight. Referee's happy as Bergen plays ball. And there's the line break. This is lovely rugby. Adam Scott still going. Bounce pass. Well straightened from Joe Jenkins.
Good steal, good
time. Boroughmuir Bears could get over. That looks to not be on their side. Fighting for everything. Archie Smeaton has his hands on it. And Simpson looks up. Now it's Ayrshire Bulls and Bobby Beattie that fancy a crack. And here's the danger man. Cavan. Straight through the middle of the pitch. What an offload. Great rugby. The knack. Simpson. Flick of the wrist to McNamara. The outside centre, Shedden to his winger. What a score this could be. Aaron Tate finishes off a superb score. But it was all about Bobby Beattie and Shedden in the centres. And the winger said, thank you very much.
Oh, it's a hammer blow for Boroughmuir Bears. We get on the front foot for one of the first times that Richie Simpson recognising that Bobby Beattie's in space. He's calling it, what's he doing? Look at that quality sleight of hand. Cavan coming through, keeping on the front foot, and then it's just recognising the space is out wide. Simple hands, good work shed, and look at that over the top, just drawing in that last Bears defender. And his teammate, his right winger, will say thank you very much, and Aaron Tate quite happy to take that and score a fantastic bonus point score for the Bulls.
You're right, a bonus point try. Tate, he was superb in the sprint series. Started playing at Millbrae at the age of 6. So a real club man. He did well to finish that. And what a first half for his number 10. 28-0, 4 converted tries. Say, if you ask for a first half to be complete, Richie Simpson would take this all day long.
Yeah, and so would Pat MacArthur and the rest of the Ayrshire Bulls coaches. Seeing Robbie Ferguson there as well, running water for the Bulls. Scotland Sevens, Glasgow Warriors, an Olympian as well, isn't he? With GB, but he's played his club rugby here back in the day, so obviously his input, it just adds to the depth of quality that the Bulls can call on. But they got their slightly mixed up there, trying to field the restart, giving Bears a chance to respond with the last 5 minutes. It's, for the sake of this game, for the sake of the Bears' confidence going into half time, you feel they really need to come away with some sort of points.
So, man originally from Hoik. Corey Tate. Looking to set up something before half time for his front eight. And do need something now. I know we said earlier, maybe it is too late, who knows, but they need a try.
That makes sense.
Yeah, they do. 28-0 down at half time at Millbrae against a dominant Ayrshire Bulls. It's difficult. 28-7, 28-5. The fact that you've got a bit of momentum going into the half. Just a totally different mindset for the Bears, for Graham Shield, their coach as well. But the way that the Ayrshire Bulls have defended their line is they're not going to it's not going to be a gimme. They're not just going to roll over and have their tummy tickled.
As we see a change there, Ian Carmichael, Glasgow Hawk, Strathclyde University. Player comes on in the second row just before half time, as we see a bit of a scuffle. He says play on. Again, frustrations for the Boroughmuir Bears. The knock seems to have all the time in the world. Former Australian schoolboy. Grew up in Australia, Southport School on the Gold Coast. Been involved with the Queens and Red setup. Moved to Glasgow a couple of years ago now, and you can see his presence there. Such a calming influence.
Yeah. The Scotland Sevens trained a bit at Southport School on the Gold Coast when the Sevens was over there. Not a bad place to go to school, that's for sure. But now plying his trade on the Sunshine Coast of Scotland, as we're calling Ayr just now. Again, good defence on their own line from the Bulls, disrupting the Bears' line out. Big tackle in midfield as well, but Bears retain possession.
Swan. The runners are coming. Not getting much change. Tom Lanny. His old teammates are certainly battering him back. Bergen shovels that on to McGinley. It's initially does well. A bit disjointed at the moment. Easier said than done. Pass has gone behind, but well picked up. Again, it's running into traffic. Joe Jenkins, another former Sevens man. Tate, what can he do? Bergen, no other option. Goes into the afternoon sky. Galloway. The knock. Like any good 9. Picking up the pieces. Beatty steps in. What can't he do? Smeaton punches on that. Where's that ball? Turnover. So a couple of minutes before half time. Tate acts at 9. Bergen, good option, puts it through. Well watched. McNamara represented Australia at Sevens. Seems to be able to play 15s pretty well as well.
Mopped up that grubber kick really well, just to snuff out any threat from the Bears. The Bulls fancy another attack from deep.
They do indeed, and these two centres are working so well. As Shedden puts the afterburners on, will Shedden go all the way? That is absolutely superb. What a first half he's had. And away he went. He wasn't going to be stopped.
Just breathtaking attack from the Bulls. Great recognition. Richie Simpson played with all the confidence of the youngster that he is, and Bobby Beattie just drawing in, just creating enough space for Shedden. Bears just fragmented in defence. They just don't know what to do. Don't know who's running where. And one thing is for sure, Shedden's running over the whitewash. And it's just a clinical first half from Ayrshire Bulls.
Man, he started out at Kilmarnock Rugby Club. Plays in the centre or the wing. Big presence. Must be over 6 foot. I wouldn't like to tackle him, I tell you that.
I'd agree with you on that, and I think Boroughmuir Bears were thinking similar, unfortunately, on that occasion as well. But yeah, just Pat MacArthur going in at half time with a 33, maybe 35 point lead. He'll be absolutely delighted. Whereas for Graham Shield coaching the Boroughmuir Bears, who, let's not forget, were 2 from 2 coming into this game. They were one of the form teams. They had all the confidence. They've been ripped apart.
They have indeed. Simpson lines up the easiest of conversions and kicks the Bears down even more. So what a first half, as you said, Colin. 5 converted tries, 35 points to 0. And let's face it, it's a long way back for Boroughmuir Bears, but Ayrshire Bulls, they've been far too good.
They have indeed, and for Boroughmuir Bears it's almost a reset, right? Let's say it's 0-0 and see if they can, the classic, let's win the second half, because otherwise it's going to be an incredibly long journey back to Edinburgh when this game is done. So yeah, it's reset. They're probably going to have to accept that the game is lost, but they need to start building from this second half for next week and make training a little less painful during the week.
Definitely. Well, we're going to have a quick look now at the Scottish Women's, who play a couple of games over the next couple of weeks, and we're going to hear from them now ahead of that World Cup.
Hi, my name's Molly Wright, and these are the moments that made me. So this first photo is of me at my first ever rugby club, which is in Reefton, which is where I grew up, and the lovely green and whites. It's where I decided, well, I didn't decide. It's where I found out my love for the game, and it's pretty much, you know, my first rugby memory, playing for this team and being involved in a rugby club and all that comes with being involved in a rugby club. So my dad was a big part of the club at the time and got me involved early. So this next photo is of my first senior women's team that I played for, which is the Otago University women's team. It was the first time I was exposed to women's rugby. I'd previously only played mixed rugby or schoolgirls rugby, so it was a bit of a step up in terms of expectation. It's also the first team that transitioned me into the front row, so I probably got a lot to thank them for in that way. And there were lots of very, very successful players involved at that club, and we had some really good coaching. Helen Littleworth, she was one of the coaches there at the time who was an ex-Blackfern, and having those people and having those role models to help develop your game really, really helped me progress as a rugby player. So the next photo is one of the provincial teams I played for in New Zealand. Again, I was really, really lucky to be surrounded by some very talented players and coaching staff. And this was definitely my first experience of being in and around an environment, like a performance environment, that really pushed you to be the best that you could be. You had to work hard to get your position. It was also a time where I just started my first job, and I was starting to be introduced to the balancing act of women's rugby, and that I was trying to juggle a new job and playing rugby. So it was a huge commitment at the time. And I really enjoyed playing the rugby, but equally I did struggle with that balance at that point. Next photo is a group of us from the Scottish team that I play for, Watsonians. This photo is from Sevens tournament actually in Mull that we managed to win. But Watsonians means a huge amount to me because they are the team that got me back into rugby. So when I first moved to Edinburgh, they were the first group of friends that I really made for myself and created this supportive environment for me. It was very much a family for me in Edinburgh. So the last photo I have got is from our tournament in Italy, the qualification tournament in Italy last year. It's the game where we beat Ireland, which was our last-ditch effort to make it to the last qualification round. So this game and this photo means so much to me. it was that last bit of hope that this whole journey for me could come full circle, that we'd be able to go to Dubai and book ourselves a trip to New Zealand. That was the make or break game. Yes, we still had a tournament to play in Dubai, but if we hadn't been successful there, that opportunity was gone for us.
Yes, great to hear from Molly right there and her story in the international rugby. And of course Scotland women play USA next Saturday and then Spain in a couple of weeks' time. Both those games at the Damhill Stadium in Edinburgh. Of course that all is in preparation for the Rugby World Cup in a couple of months' time. Quite an exciting time for Scottish women's, Colin.
Absolutely, yeah. They've done incredibly well, as Molly Wright was identifying there, beating Ireland, which caused all sorts of upheaval in the Irish women's rugby. But yeah, it was great for Scotland women to get to the World Cup. And once they're over in New Zealand, it's one of those, yeah, you just got to go out and give their all. And it's a lot of positive investment going into the women's game going forward. So yeah, all things considered, get over to New Zealand and give as good an account of themselves as they can.
Yes, definitely. If we bring it back to things closer to home in the first half, what about that 5-try performance from Ayrshire Bulls?
Just fantastic from minute one almost, wasn't it? And we saw the forwards dominating, but look at that, just sleight of hand from Robert Beattie and Richie Simpson, just saying, recognising that actually he doesn't need to try and fight his way to the line. He can just link with Cavan coming round on the outside, and relatively straightforward conversion, first kick on for the Super 6, and then again we see another dominant maul from the Bulls pack. They would just, again, Linac ball, it's simple rugby, but it's just aggressive, it's physically dominant, great ball presentation, just doing the basics. And it's the way that Rory Jackson just works with Blair McPherson as captain there, just to help barrel the big number 8 over the line. And almost an identical place for conversion 2, and it pops that one over as well.
Yeah, definitely. And look, we saw the forwards there. Here's this man, talked about him enough, Richie Simpson, evading tackles, and then he puts the burners on. Fine step. I thought he was going to go all the way, but he stopped. But when the ball was spread out wide, it was too easy again.
Yeah, great composure from Simpson once he was in position, and then Archie Smeaton recognising that he's in at first receiver. I'm sure there's plenty of noise coming from the outside, that's where the space is. Pass wasn't to hand, but it was good enough. And then that's probably kick of the day from young Richie Simpson there, just bringing it in right to left. This one, it's just recognising where the space is, and look at this from Bobby Beattie. Could just watch this again and again. Great recognition from Cavan to read what Beattie's cues are. And then a couple of phases later, it's big shed, and again barrelling down that right hand side, but showing the deftness of hand to give Aaron Tate, the other winger, a chance to get on the scoreboard as well.
But it's so interesting, the offload from Beattie. You know what's coming, but the defenders can't do anything about it.
Yeah, and that's where Cavan, the winger, great timing of it as well, just waiting for the defenders to be completely out of position. And again on that occasion, Beattie giving his opposite man the eyes just so that he can't leave him, and that gives Shedden just enough space on the outside. And you think, he's going to link up back with Beattie on the inside, and then he thinks, actually, I fancy a score myself. I think I've got the pace, and sure enough he does, and it's a quality try from deep from Ayrshire Bulls, just playing what's in front of them, recognising where the space is, recognising where the Boroughmuir Bears defence is compromised, and then they're following that up with really high levels of skill execution. I mean, thinking back on that half of Bulls made a handling error, if they coughed up possession. I mean, it's been a really, really strong 40 minutes.
I'm not going to ask, is there a way back for Boroughmuir Bears? Because I don't think there actually is, but more so Graeme Shield, what will he be saying in there at half time? And even, I know everyone says, reset, but they literally have to reset. Yeah,
it's a really interesting one that the wheels have come off for Boroughmuir Bears. That obviously 2 from 2 going into this game, probably pretty confident, and the way that the Ayrshire Bulls first of all dismantled them up front physically, and then when the backs had half a yard of space. They've just exploited that, and they've been ruthless. So yeah, for Graham Sheila, it's all the classics of forget about that. Let's reset. Let's win the second half. But it's more about, well, how will they do that? And I think we did say it has to start with some of the kind of parity up front and trying to match the physicality that Ayr have. When Boroughmuir are in position in dangerous areas, have a bit more patience. Just think, actually, let's see how we can break down this Ayrshire Bulls defence and try and get points, rather than thinking they have to force things too early.
And the other thing is, I know it's only one game, but they've won 2 from 2. They're going to lose today. But Boroughmuir Bears, they don't want to get absolutely smashed here, because confidence, going back in, I'm sure, on a Monday or a Tuesday, whenever it is, it's like we've been beaten by 50 odd points here. It's not great. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, and also now if they build a bit of confidence back by the time they get back on the bus or in the cars back up to Edinburgh. Super 6 is quite a short season, so if you lose a game, you don't have the luxury of a couple of games to recover. It's almost like, well, you need to get back on the horse next week, and it's a big ask for Boroughmuir. They'll be at home to Southern Knights, and if Southern Knights, who are struggling themselves this year, but if they got a win last night, if they're seeing Bears coming off a big defeat, they're thinking, right, we're going to go in and we're licking their lips sort of thing. Whereas if Bears have a better second half now, then yeah, it just changes the whole kind of complexion for next week as well.
Does indeed. So we shall see. It'll be an interesting second 40.
Okay, time's on.
The youngster Richie Simpson is underway in this second half. The ball springs out loose. Any good hooker there. Corey Tate back guarding his try line.
Yeah, just Bears are struggling to deal with the restart. Fly hacked on from Ayrshire Bulls. And there you just think, did Tate have time to pick it up and try and get the ball away and clear the lines? Because obviously nowadays, rather than it being a 22-metre restart, it's a goal line dropout if you touch the ball down over your own line. So yeah, they're 22 metres closer to their own line when they're, I'm presuming it will be Jack Bergen, the fly half, trying to keep clear this ball away. Concern for Bears if the first minute or so of the second half that Craig Keddy, their captain, struggling.
Yep, let's hope he's alright. I think he is. Don't forget, pretty much straight after this game, it's Harriets against Watsonians, Golden Acre. So make sure you stay tuned for that one. 4:30 kickoff. As the Bulls are back on attack through Bobby Beattie. Just seems to glide there. I think it's a great turnover for his opposite man, but that has summed up this game for Boroughmuir Bears.
It hasn't it just? Great work there, you think, from Lanny, but somehow Bulls then strip the ball straight back from the Boroughmuir inside centre.
Long knocks of Smeaton. The yards as his team look to get back in the front foot. McNamara went into that, looking a bit of anguish on his face. Let's hope the rangy fullback is okay. Michael Scott, I'm very impressed by the prop. Simpson, Beattie, Shedden, he fancies another, back inside. Cavan, can he get in for the hat-trick? I think he can. What a 42 minutes from Elias Cavan. 3 tries. And it's all happening for Elias Cavan here at home in front of his own fans.
Yeah, what a 42 minutes for the Ayrshire Bulls. It's the offload from Shedden back on the inside that Bobby Beattie or Cavan could have taken it. It's Cavan that does in the end. And then one-on-one, just stepping off that right foot. And the poor Bears defence covering across had absolutely no chance. He's been electric, Cavan. That's arguably the first try he's really had to work for, but what a quality finish.
Try for Ayrshire Bulls,
yeah,
by number 11.
Yes, indeed. Got a try in the final last year against Southern Knights. Loves to get over that white line. Again, just like he's done all day. Richie Simpson Hasn't put a foot wrong. Up to 42 points to 0. You talked about it at half time. The Bears needed a try, and it hasn't happened.
Yeah, everything that the Bears will have talked about at half time has just come undone in the first couple of minutes, and it really is about kind of minimising the damage now. Got a chance now. It's good work from Kerry to get on that loose ball. At least they're in and around the Bulls 22, so let's see if they can get a bit of a riposte.
As Tate does a bit of hurdling. Half. And Swan. You don't want to see that in the review room. Poor pass. Giving Joe Jenkins, former Loughborough University student, no chance with that ball.
Come on, please. Cheers, thank you.
Just disappointing, and you just see the reaction of the Bears players. They're just looking around at one another as to, yeah, can we shout and blame each other, or it's just almost that resigned sense about them just now.
Pardon, Joe Jenkins in Ayrshire University, I should say. He's back defending.
He's now two. He's now two.
Millbrae, to his captain, Pearson. Good strength. It's been around too long for that. But great work from the opposition. Josh King, I think, is in there. Smart play from the number 6.
Yeah, he does really well. He just gets latched on McPherson. The fact that he gets over the gain line, his teammates Bobby Beattie and James Malcolm, the way he falls, they're just a split second away from the latching on and securing ball. And Josh King recognises that, gets himself in a really good, strong position, gets onto ball. It's a fairly obvious decision for Johnny Perriam to make there, the referee. And it's a good response from King to get Bears back on the front foot and deep into the Bulls 22 for the first time this half.
So, new recruits for the Bears in the front row. Callum Smith and Marcus Goodwin. 35 minutes or so to show what they're all about. Tate to King.
No one,
In tandem. King shouting on the instructions. Corey Tate with the ball at the back. Will he pick his moment? Yes, he will. Away the hooker goes. Good feet for a big man.
No.
Bears, can they get something? They're close. One more is needed.
Back foot. Yeah, move. Back foot.
They're defending well. Repelling the Boroughmuir Bears. So tight in there. Ball seems to still be in the air. No, it is back. But there is the error. Talk about summing up the Super 6 match. I think that says it all.
Yeah, just again, Bears just inching their way, but they just can't match the physicality that this Bulls team are bringing, and I've absolutely no idea how they managed to disrupt that ball there, but they did, which is the key thing. And the Millbrae faithful, the Ayrshire Bulls forwards and backs, the coaches, they'll all be delighted that their scoreline has been kept intact. There is still the nil on the Boroughmuir Bears scoreboard. As again, Bulls are making a few changes.
Oh, indeed, there just came from Corey Tate. Just took his eye off the ball. It's Cam Jones will get a chance. That's coming on scrum half for Jordan Lanack. He certainly did his job today.
Yeah, just done really well, just marshalling the troops. It's always nice when your forwards are on the front foot, and Lanack has just done the basics very, very well. Kept the Ayrshire Bulls going the right way.
Jones gets his first touch to Bobby Beattie. And Jones, Southern Knights last year. Moving Two Ayrshire Bulls
Guys, there on the line, please.
joined there for the sprint. Has been
On the line, please, guys.
involved in the underage groups at Scotland.
Just down there. Balls away.
So they can scrum half to put out of the way, as you can see from the knock. So he's got his work cut out to grab that 9 jersey. He's got half an hour. Keep putting pressure on him. Tate goes long. Not where he wants it.
Yeah, good contest, guys.
Jones is Smeaton. He's a hard man to put down. Is Archie Smeaton.
Thank you, Robertson.
On the varsity with Cambridge as well. So he's not all rugby. He's got a few brains. Andrew Nemo, both him and Scott haven't let up. That kick is good. I thought Cavan on far side was maybe looking a fourth. Is that him down there? But the ball wins in the end.
Yeah, Bears will be happy that the touchline came to their rescue. But what an exit from Ayrshire Bulls, just the manner in which they got out from their own 22 when they're under any sort of pressure, just again going to the physicality that they've got. They're just making yards through each tackle, through each contact. And then Cam Jones recognising once they've stretched the Bears' defence and the Bears have had to, their wingers have had to come up into that defensive line. That's where the space is behind. And we're back down on the Bears' 22 before we even know it.
Yeah. King tried and tested a line out as well. His team have an advantage. Henry Swan not going to kick. Use the dancers in the backs. But Joey Jenkins is brought down. He's on the back foot there, but they have a penalty, so a chance for some territory.
Seeing if Rory Swan was going to take the quick tap, he was looking like he was maybe considering it, or he was just trying to keep the Ayrshire Bulls forwards honest. Makes sense just to clear their lines, get some better territory to try and launch an attack, and just see if they can get some front foot ball, go through some phases, ask some questions of this so far very strong Ayrshire Bulls defence.
Yeah, more subs. Jamie Drummond, another one of the Scottish 20s in the past.
James Malcolm also looks like he is done for the day. It's been an excellent 50 minutes for him.
Clean that far part. I think I saw a shot of Jerry Blythe Lafferty as well. Boroughmuir Bears.
No, it's there. It's there. No, leave it.
From Michael Scott. He'll be a tired man, the prop. He's done brilliantly. It's Bobby Beattie. He's met by a light blue wall. He keeps the ball. McNamara hasn't made too many mistakes, but that time just took the eye off it.
Ayrshire Bulls haven't made too many mistakes, but yeah, just on that occasion, just thinking about the pass before he's caught the ball, what he's going to do, just getting the basics slightly wrong on that occasion. It can be the case, it can that Stuart, as the replacements roll on, that the game just becomes a bit more fragmented, takes a wee while for the new combinations to work it out, for the new players to get up to speed of the game. Just seeing a slightly higher error count in the last 5 minutes or so than we have done throughout the majority of the rest of the game, which has been real high quality for the most part, and unfortunately for Boroughmuir, that high quality has primarily been from the Ayrshire Bulls.
Swan steps it up. Bergen happy to use runners. Velocity at the breakdown is good. Is that Bobby Beattie again? Kick comes through from Bergen. Where's that going? Cavan down on it.
Leave it there, leave it there, leave it there.
Anyone's ball at the moment. Not sure how many legal players are in there, but we're playing on.
Good old-fashioned ruck, that one, isn't it? And it looks like Bears have just about snaffled the ball away.
Callum Smith waiting. The replacement. Swan. All very tight here for Boroughmuir Bears. Smeaton doing so well defensively. The man who's involved. The Glasgow Academy. I'll tell you what, a few men watching on thinking Archie Smeaton, he's only 21. He's very, very good.
Archie Smeaton, Tim Brown, Blair McPherson, that Ayrshire Bulls back row, they've just snaffled anything Boroughmuir Bears have tried to do in attack. They've slowed the ball down, they've been a nuisance at breakdown, they've counter-rucked, they've tried to hold the Bears attackers up, and successful on that occasion. It's just that physicality that's just set the platform, set the tone for this Bulls performance. Good turnout down at Millbrae as well, when you just look at the crowd in the background enjoying an afternoon in the sunshine. A couple of beverages maybe being consumed and enjoying the festival of rugby that the home team have put on.
Yep. A few smiles on their faces as they watch their team just destroy this Boroughmuir Bears pack. And they go quickly. Is that gone forward? And Jamie Drummond, referee says no. So still going strong. Jones. Callum Anderson. With the check there. We'll have a look at this though. Referee just wants to take a moment and speaks to his official on the side.
Okay, thanks, Roscoe. Roscoe. He said it's a penalty and he's coming aside and taking it out, okay? That's why we've got time off to make sure we get it right.
Yep, there we go. Good clear explanation from Johnny Perriam, the referee, of what the assistant ref has said about coming in the side, taking the man out. Just a penalty. I think we heard an Ayr question about did he go above the horizontal, which if that had been the case it may have led to a more serious punishment for the Boroughmuir Bears defender. As it was, it's just a penalty.
Tim Brown and Edward Bloodworth get the pats on the back. Gavin Wilson get the last 25 minutes. As that line out goes astray. So Tom Lanny again, he's tried so hard, he's got no change.
Just the slowness of the Bears' ball as well. It's down to the intensity and physicality that this Ayrshire Bulls team are exerting. Just making everything an absolute fight for the Bears.
Yep.
No, onside,
They haven't
onside.
had their own way at all, have the Bears. It's been all the Bulls. Good take. Aaron Tate jumping, going for a bit of a hop skip. Lanny again gets in tight, close quarters, and makes the tackle. Drummond, a bulldozer type hooker. Smeaton gets the legs pumped. Away he goes. But he's not going anywhere there. Jack Fisher all over that ball. And when he's in there, you're not going to move him.
Did really well, just recognising that Ayr lacking numbers going into that breakdown. It's a good carry from Archie Smeaton. He gets on the front foot, but the way he falls, he almost makes it easier for Jack Fisher, to get onto ball. And it makes it the one support runner or support player that the Bulls had is just on the wrong side, as we see here. Just because he's fallen away, and then it's almost coming in this side there as well, isn't it? For was that Ewan Hamilton Bigger or Gavin Wilson possibly? Good defensive work, Jack Fisher though, getting Boroughmuir Bears back on the front foot. Will they get that 0 off the scoreboard? They'll all be desperate to get something from this game.
Yep, Fisher, a product of Preston Lodge, also has represented Borders and East Lothian at under 19 level in the past. It's his second year in the Super 6. Him and his team have found it difficult today.
And the man on screen, the hat-trick hero, hasn't found it too difficult, has he? He's been having a ball, really enjoying himself. Takes care of the strength and conditioning for Ayrshire Bulls, I think, which is great work, isn't it? That you can develop players, but also give them other skills to look at, and how they can be developed as people, other careers if rugby isn't where they end up.
Definitely, yep. Former Hartbury College and English student as well. He's got a few accolades. It's Terry Blythe Lafferty. It's his dart. He's back with the hooker, and he leaves it for Swan. Bergen looks for the runners outside him. It wasn't going to happen as Thomas Glendingan gets it. Away come Ayrshire Bulls. Cavan.
No blue, no blue!
Confidence oozing through Elias Cavan. I'll look up in a second and see he's won a penalty for his team. Must be so good out there. 3 tries to his name. Pretty much the hero tonight, I'd say as well. Along with his fly half, you've got the hardest job in 10 minutes or so, or 15 to pick man of the match. I'll leave that to you. But Cavan there, it must be so good knowing you're going to get front football.
Yeah, that's it, and it's just the recognition that Bulls have gone to the width when it's been on to go to the width. I think that Richie Simpson and Bobby Beery have been really, really important about when it's on to give the wide men a chance. Oh, did well to ride that challenge. It looked like it could have been a big collision.
It was great work from Joe Jenkins there. There was a while you thought that was going to be a bit of a harder hit.
Yep, it did well just to ride it, as we see the ball just floating over. He just drifts out with the ball, gets on the outside, but then hands in the ruck from the Bulls, which is an infringement worthy of a penalty to the Bears. We see the signal then from the referee. So we just lost a little bit of shape out of the game, just with the number of replacements that have been made, the fact that Bears are struggling a bit for confidence, I think, and Ayrshire Bulls are probably thinking, well, it's very much job done.
You mentioned the S&C. Not often you get both wingers running them at their clubs. Joe Jenkins for Boroughmuir, Elias Cavan for Ayrshire Bulls, but it just shows how important that part is in the game these days.
Yeah, and that's part of the reason, or part of what the Super 6 is all about, isn't it? It's not club rugby, it's not quite professional rugby, but it's somewhere in between. And if you're serious about trying to get into professional rugby, then strength and conditioning is going to be a really important part of it. That's obviously your physical prep and getting yourself ready, but it's also recovery and doing the important things away from the game. You might have a job as well, but you're going to have to make commitments. You're going to have to make sure that you're looking after yourself as best you can, and getting your eating strategies on the whole correct. Granted that there'll be occasions where you're allowed a bit of a celebration, which the Ayrshire Bulls might do this evening, but on the whole, yeah, it's just about, well, whilst we're not professional, where can we look to be as professional as possible? Boroughmuir Bears don't want to be seeing an injury now as well, the way today's gone, to be losing Tristan Andrews, which looks like he's walking off in a bit of discomfort.
Yep, haven't seen as much as Andrews as last week. Man of the match just hasn't had his own way. I suppose that breakdown has been won by Ayrshire Bulls, and it's so difficult as a back row to compete with that if you're on the back foot.
Must feel like he's been up against 3 or 4 Archie Smeatons on occasions. Just he's been absolutely everywhere, and then you see Blair McPherson charging around. You think, how many Blair McPhersons are on the pitch? just that Ayrshire Bulls back row have really set the tone, and it might be a response from the fact that they were struggling physically against Watsonians in that second half, so they've come out and said, right, this is what we're all about. Let's see if Boroughmuir Bears can match it.
Paul Bogey will replace Tristan Andrews. Also a scrum half change. Murray Johnson on for Rodri Swan. Jerry Blythe Lafferty seems to have his arrows right. Going across the pitch. Can they get the momentum shifting forward? Blythe Lafferty goes himself. Should be quite high there. Gets the ball to ground. Come the short side. It's a great ball, but it's just forward. And they're going to be denied again.
They have thrown absolutely everything at this Ayrshire Bulls defence. I'm sure more often than not Boroughmuir Bears would have done enough on a couple of occasions to get across the whitewash, but not today, not down at Millbrae. That occasion, the pass from Jack Bergen. We can't tell from this angle, but referee Johnny Perriam very much in line with it, and he's under no illusions that that went forward. So how will Bulls exit here? Will they look at going through a couple of phases? Will they clear the line straight off the bat? Will they think, actually, why not just attack from here? Maybe they've attacked today, anything's possible.
Yes, indeed, especially when their tails are up. Jones, nice crisp ball to Bobby Beattie. Uses his feet. Crash ball. Touch not found. It's Joe Jenkins. There's a bit of freedom. Now gallop. Away goes the left winger. Well worked from Jenkins. Cries for penalty wanted. They still have the ball. Murray Johnson digging. Gets there eventually. Number 9 calling the shots. And there is his penalty. Will go quickly. He's telling the troops to settle down.
Ayrshire Bulls not rolling away, giving Bears a chance. Yeah, the ball was well buried in that ruck, so the quick tap penalty wasn't really an option. So instead they're going to the corner, where they've tried on a couple of occasions, not managed to breach the Bulls defence, but maybe the 62nd or 63rd minute's the time they're going to do it.
So the man who went to Firhill High School in Edinburgh, Jerry Blythe Lafferty. He's been pretty accurate so far, and he keeps that trend going. He's back with the youngster. As he gets low, crying out for a try. Johnson uses the backs. Bit of a slip there.
It's his arm. No, it's his arm.
Johnson regains composure. On the front foot once more. Nice sleight of hands, Bergwijn. Tulani, he's swallowed up. Johnson fizzes that away. Blythe Lafferty. He saw Smeaton. Smeaton has a smile. And you can see the frustration from the replacement number 2.
Yes, again, it's really uncompromising defence from the Ayrshire Bulls. You've got to credit the Bears for throwing everything at them. And then on that occasion, poor Blythe Lafferty, as you say, I think he just saw the big hulking frame of Archie Smeaton ready to bury his shoulder straight into his ribs. And rather than gathering the ball, just takes his eye off it. Another Bears attack comes to nothing, primarily down to the intensity of the Bulls' defence. And you just look at the time it takes, the the Bears to get the ball away from the ruck. It's just so much slower than the Bulls because of the dominance, because of the disruption that the Bulls are creating at the breakdown. And now the forwards say, well, let's just make it a bit easier to clear our lines with a bit of scrum dominance.
Yeah, the last time these two sides played back in April. Millbrae, Ayrshire. Bulls that won that day, 24 points to 17. Certainly not going to be a 7-point victory today. It's going to be a lot more. They seem to have one up on the Boroughmuir Bears when they're at home. Of course, last year winning the Super6. So they really are a class outfit. They did though slip up last weekend. They've certainly responded. Drummond, far too loose and high. It's Blythe Lafferty gets a chance to respond. Pretty dynamic. Johnson uses second row. Bergen takes it nice and flat. Back inside to Joe Jenkins.
25, offside.
Offside from Thomas Glendinning there.
Sorry, back here, sorry. 25, offside.
So as you said, it's
In the
been a
back
bit
line,
stop-start.
in the back on.
We may yet see Boroughmuir Bears get a score.
I think almost the crowd at Ayrshire Bulls down at Millbrae, they'll be thinking, given the efforts, especially in this last sort of 10-15 minutes, being camped in the Ayrshire Bulls 22, that they just about deserve it. Although that's not in the nature of the people down Bulls or down at Millbrae, is it? They'll be desperate for this 0 to stay on the Bears scoreline. And it's the way that they've defended this maul that each time Bears have just had no opportunity to get going. Although this might
be something.
Inching it. They've got a little bit of go forward now.
They are getting closer. Marcus Goodwin stretched, and they do have their score. And it is the replacement prop. And they may be 40 odd points down, but the prop seems a happy man. He did well, got tight, and got over the line.
Yeah, interesting. This one, it was almost mauls before. They seemed to be set in a better position, but they just couldn't get any sort of yardage. And on this occasion, it was a bit more fragmented, a bit less kind of cohesive and coordinated. But that maybe played into their hands, because Ayer's defence wasn't quite set, and it's good recognition at the end there. He's got the ball under that left arm, and rather than just going to ground with the rest of the maul, he can just peel away down that narrow side. Back his strength and physicality to get over the line. And as I said, I think Bears have deserved that try.
Yeah, good work from the vice captain. Cathar Queen's Park, team in Glasgow, before moving to the Bears. Fair play to him, he stuck at it. Took the score well. So Jack Bergwijn, first shot of the afternoon. It's not going to matter much in the scoreline, but for his confidence, it soars a wee bit there as it comes in off the post, that conversion. 42-7.
As we just have a wee replay of the conversion. Nice strike. And at last, Boroughmuir's Bears get a little bit of luck as well. Ball bouncing in off the post. Let's see how Ayrshire Bulls respond, how they tackle this last 11.5 minutes, because it has been all Boroughmuir Bears for large parts of this second half. And whilst the Bulls will be delighted with their defensive efforts, they might want to give the fans down at Millbrae something else to cheer.
Callum Anderson coming on for Bergen, so that was his last act, that conversion. Anderson been at Boroughmuir for a few seasons. He's played for Scottish clubs. He passed at underage level. Good enough talent. Blythe Lafferty, he doesn't shy away. Part of the academy programme. Also was a Scottish boxing champion. in the younger days, saying that he's only 18, so it was pretty young, Colin, I tell you that.
That's decent to have that on your CV by the time you're 18 and playing a different sport.
Yeah, very much involved with Scotland back in April in the under 18 section in the Six Nations April Festival. Smeaton seems to beat the first tackler time and time again. Jones. Must be great as a 9 to have all this quick ball. But that time he stopped. And I think that's Josh King again. Or it may well be Paul Bogey, but the back row working in tandem.
It's great recognition again. Just there's an opportunity to get on ball, and they've taken it. Just, I think on that occasion, Ayrshire Bulls, the outside attackers think we'll just keep the ball in hand. We'll go through the hands, but it's a show and go, and as a result, I think it's just a little bit isolated, and that's all you need at this level. Back rowers like Josh King have a field day. They can get onto ball at breakdown. That's twice this half he's been very prominent at winning turnovers for the Bears.
Yep, previously played for Bigger. That's where he made his initial impression, then got picked up by the Bears. Work from Drummond there. Jones to his captain, McPherson. Warrior, big carrier, and well worked. McNamara. He seems to have time in the ball. These big forwards come round. Here's Drummond. Met his match though by Callum Smith. Beattie. Oh, he seems to take it to the line. Anderson. Opts for the right boot.
Straight out though, I think.
I think so as well.
Something that the Bulls haven't done much is kicking behind in those wide channels. They've tended to keep the ball in hand. On that occasion they do grubber through, and although it's gathered by the Boroughmuir Bears, they're inaccurate with their clearance kick, as the referee gives the Bulls a bit of a row for taking a little long. I'm sure they probably feel that they're entitled to it.
They'll still be looking at 50-point number. 8 points short. You wouldn't put it past them. Dummying in the line out. Drummond straight on a plate to Bly Lafferty. Not the man he wanted to hit though. Nice play from Smith. A good fly half there. Lovely hands. I think they're all over that once again. They are indeed.
It's Robert Beattie, I think. Just showing, we've seen what he can do in attack throughout this game, and then just fancies a wee defensive effort, making a quality pinch of the ball.
Talked about him enough, but Bobby Beattie, you know, played for the Warriors a few times. Debut against Northampton Saints back a number of years ago, and played in the Championship, you know, Scottish and Ealing. But he's added so much value to this team.
Yeah, he's a model pro at semi-pro level. Just his desire, his passion, the way he looks after himself, the way he wants to get better. He wants to just kind of keep on improving. He's had a bit of a dabble with the Scotland Sevens. I coached him for a wee while at Glasgow Hawks. He's just one of those guys that he was a real kind of pleasure to coach, because he wanted to learn, he wanted to get better. And yeah, you speak to some of the coaches down at Ayrshire Bulls and just how important he is just for the ultimate team player, basically, and so important in the ultimate team game, arguably.
Yep, as he lets his fullback in McNamara take it this time. There you go, he is human. Archie Smeaton. Must be his first mistake. Coming with 7 minutes to go.
Yeah, Bulls just lost a bit of their shape with all the changes that have been made in this second half. It's not quite the same fluidity and potency to their when they've got ball in hand. Again, they're just coughing up a a bit of an error, just a lack of understanding of who's meant to be taking ball, who that pass was meant for. We can just about excuse them for the odd error, given what they've produced for large parts of this game.
Crouch. Bind. Set.
Johnson. He's a weave himself. Does Callum Anderson, I should say. As well does the replacement number 10. Ayrshire Bulls penalised, not rolling away. So, can the Bears finish with a blast? Anderson. Talani. So another penalty. The Bears look for territory.
Clearly not 10 back.
Sets them up.
Guys, you can take it if you want, it's your shout.
So, now, your favourite time, I'd say. Man of the match. A few good customers out there. Richie Simpson, Elias Cavan, Robert Beattie, to name a few. Who have you gone for?
Yeah, well, I couldn't believe last week that I gave the man of the match to a prop, and it was with, I had sleepless nights between now and then. And on this occasion, it's that man on screen there, Robert Beattie. He's done so much quality work. He's been so important for a lot of the attack, the scores that we saw from deep. You can see how heavily involved he's been. That quality offload out the back door that he gave to Cavan for one of the scores. Getting a wee turnover, just to add that to his repertoire moments ago. And yeah, just he's been an outstanding operator throughout the course of this game, and in my opinion, the thoroughly deserved player of the match.
Yes, so there you go. Robert Beattie, the FOSROC Super 6 man of the match here today. It's been outstanding. Fair play to him.
As we see that the Ayrshire Bulls giving nothing easy to Boroughmuir Bears, no matter how long is on the clock, just snuffing out that line out maul, winning the turnover, or at least the put into the scrum. Just obviously hurting that they've managed to, or they've shipped a full 7 points today. It's been a big defensive effort as well, and as and when Bears have tried to go wide, I think Bobby Beattie's been really important just in snuffing out any Bears attack.
Of course, all the damage done in that first half.
5
tries. Second half being a lot tighter, but plenty of reasons for that. But in this instance, the Bulls aren't tiring. What a dominant scrum. And really, that's like the first one of the day in the first couple of minutes of replica, and that's how it started.
Yeah, exactly. And now they're just looking to have a quick tap and go, and they've enjoyed attacking from deep a lot of the time today, making good yards up to their own 10-metre line, halfway line. It's just great to watch, isn't it? Rugby played in the right spirit, that's for sure.
It is indeed. No mistake that time from Smeaton. He keeps that ball close to him. Tate tries score as well in the first half. On the shoulder. Jones digs it back into Smeaton. As you say, no mistake. He goes and makes another one, but that just shows work rate. What was that, 2 or 3 carries in 30 seconds or so?
Yeah, and he was almost a great offload. You could see him fighting that lovely inside ball to get the arms free, but in fairness to the Bears, it's a good defence, good tackle just to not allow him to get those arms free. Just cling on for dear life. I think it was the captain for Bears knocking his pan until the very final minute, forcing that turnover from Smeaton, just not quite in control of the ball as he tried to push that offload.
Yep. Craig Kelly, certainly not a man to give up. Gala Shields, that's where he's originally from. He loves his rugby. He'll be hurting, so he will, but they'll be back.
Yeah, exactly. And as we mentioned at half time, that they can take more positives from this second half than their kind of performance in the first half, that they've they've matched Ayrshire Bulls a bit more in terms of physicality. They've got themselves some territory and built some pressure on Bulls. Obviously, it's only one score they've come away with, but at least they do have that score. They've kept the Ayrshire Bulls to one try themselves in this second half. So yeah, it's the Bears, a lot of learning for them from this performance, but there's a few positives that they can look at from this second half in particular.
Johnson feeds that. Not sure how straight it was. Doesn't matter. It's Kerry. Puts industrial yards in. There you go. Like all day. It's sniffed up by an Ayrshire Bull. And they're back with it. Oh, Jackson. A standing start. And the replacement prop. Nice switch back inside to Cavan. Can he get his fourth? He's not going to. But McNamara will get another score for the Ayrshire Bulls. But Elias Cavan, he can make it rain out there. How good has he been? And his back three teammate was on his shoulder.
Yeah, just proving maybe he should be a man of the match or player of the match, but it's nice that little interplay, the kind of cut going out then back in, and the pace that Cavan comes on, the angle that he hits the ball at, and then fairness to him, the composure, recognition actually. Well, I've scored my hat-trick, maybe it's time I give my back three compadre McNamara a score as well. So yeah, again, just talk about how Ayrshire Bulls have been as a team, and I think that's just a perfect example of that from Elias Cavan. Rather than thinking I can go myself and get another try, I'll do the easy thing, I'll link with my teammate, and conversion pops over. Job done for the Bulls.
You're right, job done for the Ayrshire Bulls at home in front of a good crowd here. 7 tries in total. What an afternoon for the Bulls. 49 points to 7. They were so impressive. And a really good afternoon for them.
Yeah, they'll be absolutely delighted. I'm sure they'll think there's a bit of work they could do in that kind of minutes 45 to 75, but on the whole it's been a really strong performance back at Millbrae, bouncing back from defeat last week up at Myerside, and I think the manner in that's very much a statement that they'll be in the reckoning come the business end of the season.
Cheers.
Yes, of course. Let's have a quick recap of the full 80 minutes here, Colin. It's been great to watch, especially that first half. 5 tries in total.
Yeah, just an emphatic start from Ayr from, I think this was minute 1, first line out. They got a 20 metre line out drive, and then just when the backs are called upon, just the depth of hand, the timing of the runs, the accuracy, the passes, and it's Elias Cavan, the left winger, that's the beneficiary, as he was on a couple more occasions throughout the course of this game. But this score, the second score for Bulls, it's all about the forwards. Dominance at line out time, getting the maul going forward. Then there's one big carry, I think it's the Michael Scott, the tight head prop, but look how he gets the ball on a plate for Linac, the fly half, and captain, lead by example. I'll barrel my way over the try line, helped by his second row teammate Rory Jackson, and another pretty straightforward conversion for young Richie Simpson, who was excellent throughout today, as we're about to see.
Yeah, you're right. I was really impressed by him in general, but also the fight to stay on his feet. And then he said to his opposite man, "You can't get me, Jack Bergen," and he puts the ears back. And as I said at half-time, I thought he was in, but once you're on the back foot, you're pedalling. And the Ayrshire Bulls, they're too good, and their next try comes from their winger.
Yeah, it's another pretty straightforward run-in for Cavan. I'm sure his second row, Edward Bloodworth there, would have liked the ball to land in his hands. He could have taken a try, but no, it's one for the winger. And an excellent conversion there, flawless from the boot, Richie Simpson. Bobby Beattie just recognising we're in deep in our own 22, but we can attack, and look at that for deft of hand. Good footwork from Cavan, gets through that tackle, keeps the attack on the front foot, and then it's recognition. We've bust down the left side, there's going to be space out on the right, and ball in two hands from outside centre. Jamie Shedden. Boroughmuir Bears defence don't know what to do. Just times that pass over the top to Aaron Tate perfectly. Another score for the Ayr Wings.
Yeah, that first half. They'll be reviewing that all week because it was very, very good. And you spoke about Bobby Beattie. He ended up getting man of the match. He was good here, but so was his outside centre and Shedden for their 5th score.
Yeah, again, just keeping ball in hand, so Bears defence don't know what to do. As soon as you tuck it into one hand, you think, right, he's gonna keep a hold of that and go and attack and make that tackle, or at least try to. But just that element of deception, not sure what's going on, and as a result, from that break, we see Robert Beattie making his way over to get his well-deserved award.
You're right, Blair McPherson, skipper, giving the well-deserved man of the match, Robert Beattie, his prize. And I'm sure he's looking forward to a big night ahead.
Neither of them look like they've played 80 minutes, fresh as daisies. Maybe not when we get a close-up of them, but it's a great performance. In fact, both of them, Blair McPherson was excellent at number 8. Just that physicality that set the tone for that entire Bulls attack that Robert Beattie was a vital part of.
The offloads and things like that, Colin, they're obviously taught from a young age, but it's also a bit of instinct, and Robert Beattie showed that. Yeah,
and it's also the coaching and the environment that he's playing under, that it's a case of go out and do what we know you can, go and back yourself, go and practice it at training, and if there's opportunity in the games, then go and execute. As a coaching team, as a coaching team, we're gonna back you to execute, and we saw with the last couple of scores there, attacking from deep, that a lot of the time coaches will be thinking, no, we're deep in our own 22, we just kick the ball, we apply pressure through getting territory. But the way that Ayrshire Bulls attack or team have been set up, it's obviously recognition of when there's opportunity to attack, then we will attack, and they did it with devastating effect today.
So after last week's dent, the Bulls back at it. Pretty obvious to say the best response possible, but they're obviously still want to back up last year's crown and reign it. There's a long way to go, but they look pretty good today and be hard to stop.
Yeah, and again, that kind of complete team performance. I've picked out Bobby Beattie as player of the match, but Archie Smeaton and Blair McPherson in the back row, the physicality they set from minute 0 to minute 80, and I'm sure part of that was the lessons that they learned up at Myerside last week, and then you've got the quality of Elias Cavan and Aaron Tate on the wings, Liam McNamara, all the back row getting tries, as we see Bobby Beattie now getting that'll take pride of place, I'm sure, in his trophy cabinet.
Well, indeed, I'm sure. He seems a happy man anyway.
Rightly so. It's been a fine afternoon's work for the Bulls.
Yeah, and if we look at the second half scores, but just a quick replay of that last try before half time first. Great work all round. Cavan involved.
It's just
and then that's his
step off the right, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the hat-trick score.
The ideal start to the second half for Ayrshire Bulls. Just all the fire and brimstone that might have been brewing at half time in Boroughmuir Bears, just straight away it's just negated with that start from the Bulls. But fair play to the Bears, they stuck at it, they threw an awful lot at Ayrshire Bulls, and for large parts the defence was outstanding, but its replacement prop Marcus Goodwin that just keeps a bit of composure, recognises, okay, the maul's gone down, but I can bounce off to the right there, and he, as we see the referee signalling arm raised, try scored. He obviously did enough, and at last a little bit of luck for Boroughmuir Bears with the conversion, dinking off that outside upright and going over.
Yeah, indeed. And then just right on the full-time whistle, Cavan back involved, showing his class. I thought he was going to get his 4th. He showed a bit of nicety, and usually a McNamara.
Just great team score again. Just the intricacy of the attack to get through that Bears defence, and then the kind of calmness, composure, just to recognise we've got a 2-on-1 here. Great support line from McNamara.
So if we have a look there, it's all very tight at the top. of course. Ayrshire Bulls getting back up there with that win today. Watsonians, they'll play later on this afternoon against Heriots, which is coming up shortly, so make sure you stay tuned. Boroughmuir Bears in third, 9th. Heriots, they have a chance as well, obviously, if they could nick one against Watsonians. And the Knights got their first win last night, so still all to play for.
Yeah, indeed, and if Heriots do turn over Watsonians in the game that's upcoming, obviously home advantage down at Golden Acre, then it's all set at the top. It's a little bit of a shame for Stirling and Southern Knights to be cast adrift, but then you've got 4 teams battling it out at the top of the table, and that's what you want, isn't it? Real tight, action-packed, and the quality of rugby that we've seen today. If that's anything to go by, then the next few months of action will be excellent.
Yeah, it definitely will be. My thanks to Colin Gregor. It's been great to have him on co-commentary. And make sure you stay tuned, as I've said. In just about over half an hour, Golden Acre Heriots Rugby will take on Watsonians. So tune in for that. But today, Ayrshire Bulls run riot at Millbrae against Boroughmuir Bears. 49 points to 7. Thanks for watching.